Hi there, I'm Jason, and one time my crush dumped me because my flat was too small. Now she's applying to be a maid in my villa. Before I tell you more about my story though, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell icon to show your support for me. Jenny hated my flat. We were only dating for 6 months and I just asked her to move in with me. But Jenny? Well, she was not a big fan of the idea. What? Move in? With you? Here? In this small, dingy box you call an apartment? I mean, you don't have to be so harsh. It's not massive, sure, but there's 2 bedrooms and there's enough space for 2 people. I think. We could even look at getting a dog at some point. 2 people and a dog? Seriously? You could barely fit a hobbit in here. I think you're exaggerating a bit. And I think you barely deserve me. If I'd known you lived in such a tiny place in such an uncool neighborhood, I wouldn't have dated you in the first place. And didn't you just get fired from another job again? How are you supposed to afford upgrading your life if you can't even manage to keep a decent job? That was how Jenny disappeared from my life. It took a while for me to get over her. I honestly liked her after all. I just never thought she was that high maintenance and materialistic. My mistake was that I thought Jenny actually liked me and not what I could give her. A few months later, and I finally decided to rent out my extra room, and it was to a girl called Mandy. Mandy was an amazing roommate. She was happy with our average-sized apartment, and she helped out a lot with the chores. Not only that, she was fun to hang out with and play games with. Plus, it didn't hurt that she was really, really beautiful. To be completely honest, I had a crush on her the moment I saw her, and when I got to know her more, I fell in love. Mandy was an avid gamer, and she was a nerd just like me. When we met, she was working on this app that she was developing, and I was excited about it too. And so, whenever she needed it, I would listen to her ideas and comfort her when she felt demotivated. On her 6th month, Mandy came home with a cheeky grin on her face and her hands behind her back. But the surprise was ruined when the thing she was hiding gave a loud, enthusiastic bark. Mandy brought home a rescue puppy. Surprise! I guess. I passed by him on the way home, and I just couldn't resist. We have something to celebrate. He's gorgeous! And celebrate? Did you get some good news? Mandy grinned from ear to ear. Better than good! It's amazing news! My app got picked up for investment! Oh my god, that's massive! I know! We named the pup Ninja, for the way he tended to sneak around the house, quiet as a shadow. And that night, Mandy and I stayed up all night just talking and talking about how exciting it was for her that her app was finally going to be in full swing development. That night, Mandy also kissed me, and I was on cloud 9. Our kiss didn't really lead to much more. After that night, we decided it was a bit weird for me being her landlord and friend, and for us to be a couple at the same time. And so, avoiding further complications between us, Mandy and I mainly stayed friends. Mandy ended up renting from me for over a year. Eventually, though, she had to move out, as the progress on her app was becoming more and more demanding, which meant she had to hire people. And hiring people meant she had to have her own space and her offices. I'm sorry I have to leave. I've really grown attached to this apartment. I'll miss living with you. Same here. I'm sure you'll be fine. You've got your launch date to look forward to. And now you'll have an entire team to support you. And your own offices. How cool is that? It's only a shed in the backyard of this house I'm buying. But yeah, the extra space should help. What do we do about Ninja? Oh, you know what? I think I should leave him with you. You've gotten used to having company here. You won't miss me so much if he's with you. Are you sure? Absolutely. And anyway, you can both come visit at the new house anytime you guys want. I'll definitely take you up on that offer. Ninja and I went up for a visit of Mandy's new place when she invited us. And she was definitely underselling it. When we got there, my jaw dropped. The way she talked about it made me think of some average suburban home. Mandy's place was a mansion. And the shed in the back for her offices that she was telling me about, it was a modern prefab office that was mostly glass. The investment she received was pretty substantial, and so I guess it was only fitting for the CEO of an up-and-coming company. Mandy was still modest about the whole thing though, and still down to earth as her usual self. When Mandy heard that I'd been fired again, she offered to help. I tried to refuse her offer for months, but when the bank came to repossess my apartment, I had no choice. At that time, I truly was at rock bottom. My field was already very hard to find jobs in, and when I ever did find one, they always required tons of experience, which I couldn't get because everyone who was hiring wanted someone with tons of experience. And so instead, I worked small, odd jobs here and there, which I tended to get fired from because I always had problems with doing routine, standardized things. I was creative at heart, and I think I have an eye for things that needed improving. Not being able to improvise and always trying to streamline things always landed me in trouble. And since I'd already lost another source of income, Mandy's rent, things just got even harder for me. That was until Ninja and I arrived at Mandy's place that day. She proposed to me a scheme which at first I found really odd, but then she made an offer I couldn't refuse. "I'll be your sugar mama." What? I laughed at the ridiculous idea. "No, I'm not joking. I have so much money now, and you helped me so much when I started this little company. I want to help you out too." At that point, Mandy and I began to date as well. The whole sugar mama thing was a bit weird, but hey, I was dating a rich, successful, beautiful girl as she paid for everything. I might as well have won the lottery. She took me shopping, bought me all new computers and consoles, all the things I had that I had to sell when I was at my lowest point. She said she wanted me to have all the nicest things I deserved, and that I should consider it as a payment for all the times I supported her. I wasn't gonna say no to that. One weekend, we built Ninja a massive house for him in the backyard, and we bought him so many toys, the whole stash barely fit in there with him. But Mandy's work life wasn't all sunshine. She was always stressed. She said having an investor was driving her to her breaking point. Apparently, her investors wanted more control of the company. And even though she was CEO, she wasn't named the director of the board, and so she still had to answer to her bosses. It got so bad that her boss actually kidnapped her. I just received a random message from her one day asking for help, and she sent me a pinned location. I thought about calling the cops, but I didn't know exactly what kind of situation she was in. So, intending to rescue her, I drove all the way to her boss's home, which was in some weird deserted forest. I brought Ninja along too. When we got there, the house seemed deserted, and then I heard Mandy scream, "Help!" I rushed to where her voice was coming from, and when I burst through the doors, I was shocked to see Mandy all tied up to a chair, a solitary lamp swinging above her as she tried her best to get free of her restraints. The woman who had her captive quickly put a gag in her mouth, slapped her, and turned to me. She was all dressed in a leather catsuit and had a whip in her hand. "And who are you?" I'm Jason, and I'm here to take Mandy home." "You realize you're trespassing, do you, Jason?" "You have no right to keep Mandy here. You're kidnapping her." "And what are you going to do about it? Call the cops?" I will." I then reached for my phone and dialed 911, but before I could even do so, the lady's whip cracked and I saw my phone fly into the air. "No chance of that, silly boy." "What now? Maybe you should quietly sit here next to your dear Mandy and be my next toy." "Why are you doing this? Let her go!" "See, I asked Mandy nicely. I wanted full control of her company. We put in a lot of money into it, after all. But she wouldn't agree. So, here we are." "You won't get away with this." "Oh yeah?" I ran towards her, but before I could do anything, Ninja was already biting at the lady's legs. In the commotion, I managed to free Mandy and we hightailed it off away from the house and into my car. I drove like a madman. And then Mandy asked me to find the nearest police station. The directress of the company was fired immediately, and she's in jail now. And Mandy pushed that I be the new director. Because of the whole scandal, Mandy regained majority control over everything. And when she said I should be the new director, nobody could do anything. Nowadays, Mandy and I are a power couple. We even got married. And Ninja, he got a girlfriend too. They're having their first puppies next month. You know what the funny thing is? Last week we were hiring new staff and I came across a familiar name. Jenny. She was applying to be a maid in our mansion, and I hired her. She's on toilet duty every single day.